Hello, I'm John Spinks, and this video is going to examine one of the most sensitive and disturbing issues surrounding religious cults today. Here it is. It is the fact that there are many thousands of people in religious cults today who want to get out, want to escape, they want to leave, but they can't because they are trapped. They are trapped by the fear of losing their loved ones if they leave the cult. I did a survey recently asking ex-cult members the biggest reasons that trap people in cults, and this was the second biggest reason: the fear of losing family should they leave. This was my experience after I had escaped the cult I was born into. More about that later. The policies and customs of such religious groups is that people who leave must be shunned and ostracised. The family is therefore split up. This is what they do. In effect, this means that people thinking of leaving have the prospects of losing their wives, their husbands, their children, their grandparents, their siblings, not to mention the support structure and all their lifelong friends who they may never see again. This is what happened to me. My 4 grandparents left the Exclusive Brethren in 1970, 50 years ago. I didn't see them again. When I escaped myself 32 years ago, my parents and family and everyone I knew at the time were coerced into not seeing me over these last 32 years. But I'm not complaining, I'm campaigning. Now, a quick recap. I recently conducted this survey that asks ex-cult members the biggest reasons why people are trapped in cults. Here they are again. Number 1, they are completely indoctrinated. Number 2 was the fear of losing loved ones, which this video is about. Number 3, the fear of God punishing them, the next video. And number 4, the fear of not surviving outside the cult. So this video addresses the second biggest reason why people are trapped in cults: the fear of losing loved ones. This was the biggest reason that trapped me. 4 years longer than I wanted. I could not bear the thought of not being able to see my parents again. I was 22 at the time. I was like a rope in a tug of war. I was trapped. So here's the great and terrible question. What do you do if right now you are part of a religious group, any group by the way, Christian, Muslim, Jewish, any religion that you are feeling controlled by, whereby you really want to leave, but you fear losing your loved ones who may stay in the group if you go, so you feel trapped? What do you do? I'm going to tell you from my experience of being trapped, and also as a result of doing this Cult Escape campaign, awareness campaign, in which I've come to see some stark realities that could help you with this massive decision you might be thinking about. And if you have experienced being trapped in a cult yourself and losing your family, please help out by putting your thoughts and your advice in the comments below if you want to. So let's set the scene. You want to leave, but you're trapped by the fear of losing your loved ones. What can you do? Let's be practical, realistic, and keep it simple. Right now, there are only 2 possibilities that you can consider. Remain with your family, or leave, maybe without your family. Let's first look at the scenario of you remaining in the group. There are many reasons why people want to remain, even after discovering their group is cultic. For some, totally understandably, leaving and losing their family who might stay is not an option. The goal of what I'm suggesting to you here is that you come to a place of peace and single-mindedness about where you are, at least for now, even if you find you have to take one day at a time. I know what it is like to want to remain in a group, even though part of me wanted to leave. My struggle with making up my mind lasted 4 years. It took me that long to come to terms with the thought of possibly not seeing my family ever again. Here's a question to ask yourself. What comes first, family or freedom from the cult? Every situation and circumstance is different, so there is no one single answer for all. But if you were to remain in the cult option, there are 3 possible variations to consider, and here they are. The first one: stay and with your family aim to gradually sow seeds in discussion and research with them that might eventually, with patience, make your family realise that it is the cult that you all don't want to be part of. I know someone who did just this. His wife and 3 children were committed to the cult, but after 18 months of research and really examining where they were, deeply looking into the issues, of self-righteousness, changing laws, hypocrisy, bigotry, control, fear, exclusivity, etc., the whole family came to a place of agreement and they all happily left together. Hallelujah! Can I get an amen? A second possibility to consider. Stay with your family and have faith in God to guide you within the cult. Do you believe in a God that can guide you? If so, this is an option for you. If not, then it's not an option. The third possibility, stay with your family again, put up and shut up. This is a real and realistic option that most people take. There are certain things in life that sometimes we can't cope with. Consider this. Not all have the strength to leave a place that has been all they have ever known. Leaving can be very daunting and can cause fear to even think about it. There was a time when, for me, thinking of leaving my parents was traumatic and unthinkable. Is there a place for accepting this and seeing ourselves kindly? We all have strengths and weaknesses, and by accepting this and not being hard on ourselves, we can still live our life knowing we are doing our best with the strength we have at this time. Being ruthlessly honest with ourselves is always the best way forward, and you can live your life knowing you're doing your best with the strength you have found in yourself so far. Give yourself a break. You can always change your mind in the future. If after weighing up these options you choose to remain where you are, at least for now, all respect to your decision and best wishes to you on your journey. These three scenarios, by the way, I have put in the description below if you want to read them afterwards. Next, the only alternative to remaining is to leave. But what about your family if they stay and cut you off? How can you achieve freedom from cultic control and keep your family? What a dilemma. Again, everyone's situation is different. Your life choices are entirely down to you. Over the years, 32 years now, I have analysed how and why I escaped from the cult I was born into, and how and why I was able to get out despite knowing my parents would probably cut me out of their life. It all came down and comes down to just one principle. My values changed. They shifted. As I said earlier, what trapped me personally was my fear of losing my family. On my 22nd birthday, as it happened, I had an epiphany moment and my value for freedom overtook my value for my family. Now that might sound bad or selfish even, but as I was preparing for this video just today, I saw something for the very first time in my life. I realised I still valued my parents, of course, but I could not cope any longer with the mental, psychological, hideous, boring 10 meetings a week, the laws, rules, regulations, the control, the restrictions on exploring life, the natural urge to seek out my true identity and express myself authentically, being the red-blooded male heterosexual that I am. I couldn't cope. For my own health and well-being, I had to get out. I had to place a greater value on my health than my parents, because if I didn't, I would have gotten ill and been no use to anyone. And guess what? Looking back, it was one of the mega best decisions I've made in my entire life. So it's all down to our values. The reason why people remain in cults unhappily is the same reason why domestic violence victims remain with their abuser. It's all down to our values, what we deem as most important to us. A person will leave a cult when their value to escape is stronger than their value to stay. Such is the importance of this subject, I recognise, of deciding to leave a cult, which might mean losing your family. And to keep these videos short, I have recorded 2 short videos which go into detail about how to understand and identify and change our values if we want to. They are called How to Escape from a Religious Cult and Why Are Cults So Difficult to Escape From. These address both understanding, identifying and changing our values, which I suggest is probably the only way we can arrive at a place of decision, peace and rest about our lives after being trapped in one of these controlling cults. The links are in the description below. Have a listen, make notes, question everything, and every best to you on your journey. Get my story Cult Escape, a paperback or free ebook with Amazon Unlimited. Please help this subject more by commenting below with your wisdom and experience. Please like and subscribe, and it will extend the reach of this video and hopefully help somebody. See you soon.